Ever felt this way? The conversation ends and you're left feeling like your battery has been drained. Your mind is foggy, your shoulders are slumped, and all you want is to be left alone. You've just chatted with a colleague or friend, but instead of feeling energized, you feel as if you've unloaded a freight car. In just half an hour, your vitality has turned into utter apathy. At such moments, one apt phrase comes to mind: energy vampire. It perfectly describes the sensation. It feels as if someone has tapped into you and siphoned off all your vital energy, leaving behind only an empty shell. But what if we set aside the mysticism and look at this phenomenon from another perspective? Perhaps behind this seeming magic lie very real psychological mechanisms. They are down to earth, yet no less destructive to our well-being. What is truly happening during such interactions? And, most importantly, how can we stop this subtle energy leak? Let's find out. In this exploration, we'll journey from myth to scientific explanation, and by the end, you'll gain not just understanding, but a practical tool for reliably protecting your inner world. To understand how to protect your inner world, we must first debunk the main misconception. No one literally steals your energy. The concept of energy vampirism is essentially a vivid metaphor that, however, very accurately describes a destructive communication pattern. Its essence is simple. One person systematically violates another's personal boundaries, leading to their emotional and mental exhaustion. To delve deeper into this phenomenon, it's worth turning to the legacy of Carl Gustav Jung, one of the founding fathers of depth psychology. In exploring the complex structure of personality, Jung laid the fundamental groundwork for understanding a concept without which a healthy and mature life cannot be built. His central thesis is this: the loss of energy after interaction is a direct consequence of your personal psychological boundaries being violated. You are not a victim from whom something was externally taken. You are the owner of a house with an unlocked door. But what is this house? And what surrounds it? Imagine your personality as an entire plot of land. On it stands your house, the core of your feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and values. And surrounding the house is your life, your relationships, projects, aspirations. This is where a key element comes into play: psychological boundaries. This is an invisible yet sturdy fence around your plot. Its primary and most important function is to clearly delineate: this is your territory, and over there is someone else's. It helps you understand where you end as an individual and where the outside world, other people, begin. Its second function is protection. This fence guards your lawns from those who try to trample them and prevents outsiders from dictating what color your house walls should be. Healthy boundaries, however, are not a solid, impenetrable wall. They are more like a strong, reliable fence with a gate, the key to which is always in your hands. You decide whom to let onto your territory and on what terms. Weak, blurred boundaries, on the other hand, are more like a leaky, semi-dilapidated picket fence. Through it, someone constantly intrudes without asking, and you are forced to expend an enormous amount of internal energy fending off uninvited guests. trying to maintain some semblance of integrity. It is this constant struggle for your plot that leads to that very feeling of depletion we mistakenly call energy vampirism. So how exactly does this drain of energy occur through the holes in our fence? Psychology describes several key mechanisms that undermine our inner fortress. One of the most common is projection. Imagine the other person experiences strong anxiety, dissatisfaction, or even aggression, but isn't ready to acknowledge it and take responsibility for their feelings. Then their unconscious, as if with invisible threads, projects these unpleasant emotions onto you. Instead of saying, "I feel anxious," they might declare, "You're making me angry," or "You're upsetting me." If your personal boundaries aren't strong enough, you unwittingly pick up on this foreign projection. An exhausting internal process begins. You try to justify yourself, prove your innocence, and essentially, you process and deal with negative emotions that originally belonged to someone else. A second powerful destructive factor is psychological fusion. A person with weak boundaries, when encountering someone else's problem or suffering, doesn't just sympathize. They literally dive headfirst into the situation. The boundaries between I and you blur, and they begin to experience someone else's pain as their own, trying to save or take responsibility, even though no one asked them to. This isn't empathy, it's dissolving into the other. As a result, instead of offering support while maintaining their own integrity, the person exhausts themselves by fully immersing in another's emotional storm. It is at such moments that it becomes clear. No one is draining your energy. You, unconsciously, are expending it on this grueling internal struggle, on attempts to separate your true feelings from imposed foreign ones, on defending against hidden manipulations, on the agonizing search for yourself in an emotional chaos that doesn't belong to you. To effectively protect your inner world, you must learn to recognize those who unconsciously or deliberately violate our boundaries. After all, to fight back, you need to know your opponent. Let's look at 3 classic types of behavioral patterns that most often lead to our energy draining away. It's important to understand, these are not labels for people, but descriptions of specific interaction scenarios that undermine our well-being. The first type is the eternal victim. Such a person is constantly in a state of chronic bad luck. Everything is wrong for them. Their boss is a tyrant, colleagues are schemers, life is unfair and fate is cruel. Their stories full of complaints and lamentations evoke genuine sympathy and, more dangerously, guilt in you. They never directly ask for help, but with their entire demeanor, every sigh and sad glance, they transmit a silent message. Save me. And just like that, you unconsciously begin to give away your resources. You offer solutions, comfort them, try to sort out their endless problems, even though they aren't looking for solutions, but merely need a listener to share their suffering. The second type is the controller critic. This person breaches your boundaries through invalidation and unsolicited, often demeaning advice. Their signature phrases are, "Who gets a haircut like that? If I were you, I'd do it differently. This is complete nonsense." Or, "Well, you know that won't work, right?" Every comment makes you doubt yourself, your decisions, tastes, and abilities. You are forced to expend an enormous amount of internal energy to protect your self-esteem, prove your point, or simply withstand the pressure. And finally, the third type is the drama queen or drama king. This person desperately needs strong emotional experiences, and they masterfully generate them out of nothing. They make a mountain out of a molehill, create intrigues where none exist, and then revel in your strong reaction. You are an unwilling audience member in their personal theater, where they are always in the starring role. After each such performance, where you were drawn into someone else's emotional roller coaster, you feel completely drained and depleted. Understanding these behavioral patterns is the first and most crucial step to stopping this energy drain and regaining control over your inner world. But what if you already find yourself in the epicenter of such an attack, when your internal resources are rapidly diminishing? In such moments, when there's no time for long deliberations, there are several emergency techniques that will allow you to quickly regain control. The first and simplest is physical disengagement. If a conversation becomes overtly toxic or you feel your energy leaving you, find any excuse to interrupt it or simply move away. Stand up to get some water, cite an urgent call, or the need to check something. Even a slight change in physical distance or body position helps your psyche restore a sense of boundary, literally stepping aside from external pressure. If it's impossible to completely break off communication, I statements will help. Instead of taking a defensive stance or trying to justify yourself, focus on your own feelings and sensations. Don't say, "You're tiring me," with your whining, but phrase it as, "I feel very tired when we discuss this topic for a long time. I'd like to change it." You are not blaming the interlocutor, but clearly defining your internal boundary, not allowing their emotions to engulf you. This approach often disarms, as it's difficult to argue with your personal experiences. And finally, after any draining interaction, it's crucial to practice grounding. This technique helps to quickly bring yourself back into your body and restore inner balance. Sit upright if possible and focus on your breathing. Take a slow, deep inhale, then an equally slow exhale. Feel your feet firmly on the floor. Sense the contact with the surface you're sitting on. This simple yet powerful exercise allows you to collect yourself, separate from external influence, and regain control over your own state in just a few minutes. These emergency techniques are undoubtedly valuable when you need to quickly restore balance and detach from external influence. However effective these patches may be, they only temporarily address the symptoms, not solving the root problem. The true goal is not to master deflecting attacks, constantly patching holes in your psychological fence. Our task is much deeper, to become so whole and rooted in oneself that external traumas and hidden manipulations simply cease to affect you. They will pass by, finding no hook to latch onto and pull out your inner strength. True freedom lies not in endless struggle with those we call energy vampires, but in developing such a powerful inner foundation that their influence on you simply disappears. The key takeaway is simple. The best and most reliable defense is a well-structured, conscious self. When you know precisely who you are, what your values and beliefs are, and what you want from life, others' attempts to manipulate or project their problems lose all power. The path to strong, impermeable boundaries is, first and foremost, a path to deep self-knowledge and self-acceptance. And the reward for this path is priceless. The ability to live your own authentic life, to be its full author, and to feel an inexhaustible source of your own energy.